Aloha and welcome back. This is Natasha. So, I did want to apologize. I took a kind of like a 3 week break from posting a video on here on my channel. I actually went to the mainland, to Washington State, for a couple of weeks and visited with some family there. So, I just took a little bit of a break, and then we came back, and I took another week just to catch up on work and household things and kids, all that fun stuff, back to reality stuff. But I am gonna sorry, continue with number 3 and number 4 for this card kit series, but that's gonna be it, just because I kind of ran into a time crunch with the traveling and everything. So I did start this card number 3 with one of the alcohol ink pieces that I had made in a previous video. And I used this floral focal point, and I cut it down and I added some gold foiling to that, ran that through my, sorry, geez, my throat, ran that through my laminating machine. And then here I'm just taking a distress ink, the vintage photo, and I'm just inking up the panel here. So my thought process on this actually was just to heat it, not heat up, like ink up the edges. And when I got to this point, I was like, I don't really like the white showing and standing out so much. So I just inked up the whole entire panel. And then I'm going to go back over with my vintage photo, and I'm just going to really concentrate on the edges, just making them really, really dark, so that it looks like the center is a little bit lighter. You get the gist of it. So that's basically what I did. So I took some yellow cardstock and I made a card base with it. Okay, so I'm just showing you here my bone folder. So I did not realize that the last time that I had used this 3 weeks ago was when I was doing all of my alcohol inking, and I actually got my bone folder super inky. So when I was creasing this card base, I'm going to show you here, I got a nice smudge on it with some teal colored ink. So no big deal. You could just flip it over, use the other side, put your pieces to your card there, and it would be beautiful. And on the back side, you would have that inky mark. And so it's not that big of a deal. Some people really wouldn't care, but for me, it really just bugged me. Like I would put my handmade stamp, right there. And so I just decided I'm just going to have to change my card design and figure out a way to cover up that inky spot. So my thought process was to take my alcohol ink panel and just kind of like kitty wampus my panel, my alcohol panel, onto my card front, and then just put my floral focal point just straight on, so it kind of gives it a little bit of you know character, I guess. It would give it a little more pizzazz. So that's what I did. I took some liquid adhesive and I'm just gluing that piece down just to make sure I'm covering up that smudge, and then just cutting off the excess there with my scissors. Okay, so sometimes that happens, in our creative world of card making. We sometimes put smudges where we don't want them to be, or, you know, cut something that we didn't intend to cut. So we just have to figure out very creative and inventive ways to fix our mistakes and continue on with the project instead of tossing it. So here I'm just showing you that I wanted to use that gold cardstock to mat my focal point, but I really am a super frugal crafter. You could ask anybody. I really hate to be wasteful. So I didn't want to waste that whole piece of that gold cardstock that is so beautiful. So I just decided to cut little strips and then glue them onto the back part of my focal point. And that came out gorgeous. It's great. I used the last of that gold piece. I can now use that gold paper for, a couple other projects. Christmas is right around the corner, so absolutely going to be using gold on those cards. And so I just cut down some strips and it came out gorgeous. I loved it. I love the way it looks like it's matted in the back. Okay, so at this point I'm going to be stamping on my sentiment before I forget like I usually do and have to fiddle around with trying to get my sentiment on. So I'm just going to be taking a sentiment from the stamp set. It says you're on my mind. I think that's what it says. And I'm going to be using that with my Misty because I didn't want to mess anything up at this point. So using some foam adhesive, I am going to be just as straight as I possibly can, mounting on my focal point right there in the center. Yeah, you're in my thoughts. That's what it says. Okay, and then I added some sequins in the same like color family as my card. And that, my friends, is card number 3. Super simple. It was an easy card to put together because I had a lot of the elements already done. And we're moving on to number 4. So this is not a card. I'm making a tag. So I really wanted to use this big stamp that came in the stamp set. So I prepped my tag with my powder tool and using some Versamark, I am going to be stamping down that piece onto, or sorry, that stamp onto my tag. Using some gold powder, I'm going to be heat embossing this image onto my tag. So I do want to mention this is a Tim Holtz tag, and so it's got this really sleek surface on it, like very sleek. I mean, I almost think that I could use alcohol ink on it, but I really needed something that was going to stay on to this tag here. So I decided to use my Fantastics, which is a foam like brush, I guess you could say, that little pen thing that I'm using. It's like a foam like brush, and I'm using some Distress Oxides, and I wanted to stay in the blue hue tones, so I'm using some Stormy Sky Distress Oxide, and then you'll see me use a lot of other blue Distress Oxides on this piece here. Sorry. So I'm just moving the color around with this foam brush, and the color goes on really smoothly, and then you just blend it out. I kind of wanted to do an effect where it's darker going out to lighter, you know, like that ombre effect, but it just really wasn't coming out for me. So it is what it is. And I just continued to color it in. It looked great colored in. And with the Distress Oxides, you know, when it dries, it gets a little chalky looking. So it was perfect. It was fantastic. So don't worry about the little stuff. Just keep going with your creative little mind and, you know, just keep working it. It'll come out great in the end. All right, so then I moved on to the tumbled glass. And this Fantastics, it's like a foam piece on, you know, I tried to show you it a little bit earlier, but it's like a little foam on the tip of it. So you can just snip it with your scissors, like cut the tip off on it, and you can change into different colors, you know. So, but since I'm in the blue families here, that's Salty Ocean. Since I'm in the blue families here, I just kept going with it because it's all blue tones. So again, I'm frugal, and so why cut off the tip when I can just reuse it over and over and over again until I actually change color families, then I can snip it away. So funny. But it is what it is. We all try to cut corners when it comes to being frugal. I don't like to be wasteful either, so there is a little tidbit about me. Yeah, so this piece came out gorgeous. I had a lot of fun actually, you know, from not crafting for a couple of weeks. It really was driving me a little crazy, but you know, I got to hang out with family, my nephews and nieces, so I was very distracted. But when I came home, I was itching. All I wanted to do was sit at my table and just get something on paper, you know? So it was fun to just sit here and just kind of relax in my own zone. And so here I'm using the broken china. I'm going to be coloring in the 2 pieces, and I believe the last color I use is Mermaid Lagoon. Pretty sure. We'll see it here in a bit. But so it was fun. I love fall. Fall is like my favorite time of the year. And so being in Washington and just seeing the leaves and the different colors, it, oh my gosh, takes my breath away. It's so gorgeous. Everything's so gorgeous. It's a little chilly, a lot chillier than it is here in Hawaii, but you know, it's a nice change of pace for sure. It's a nice change of scenery. So we had a blast. So here you're going to see me take my scissors and just cut off the blue, because I'm going to be changing now into antique linen. So I just trimmed that off of that little Fantastics, and I'm going to be going in, making sure that I have no blue left over on that Fantastics pin, and going in with my antique linen on the little berries. Sorry, you can't see me coloring off screen there, but I'm going to color on this side. You can see. And it went on like this distress oxides went on this tag so effortlessly. Seriously, I was shocked because it has this really sleek surface. So it was just brushing on there like with ease. So going in with some peeled paint, I'm going to be doing just a couple of leaves that I have on this image here. I kept like, there was so much, I dabbed it very little in the ink, and there was so much ink on the Fantastics, and it was, so that's why I had to have that scrap paper, because I had to keep wiping it off, because there was so much ink, and I didn't want this project to get inky. You know, that can happen real fast. So, all right, so at this point, you can see that the oxides are oxidizing, and they are muting out my gold heat embossed part. So I'm just taking a cloth, my dirty inky cloth for my craft room, and I'm just wiping or buffing away the oxide inks from my embossed powder or my embossed image. And look at that thing shine. It is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Love it. So I'm just going to take a sentiment from the stamp set. I believe this says love you, really nice and simple. Up on the corner there, the top corner with some black ink. It came out gorgeous, stamped it once, and it is done. It's done, folks. So this is card number 3. Really love it. Super simple. Very nice. Came together great. And I am going to show you the tag, a still shot of the tag as well. So I thank you guys for being patient. I know I took a little bit of a break, but I am back, and I will be posting videos again twice a week. Sorry for that. My phone just chimed. And I will be back this coming week. I might even have a video ready by tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. I thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, and comment. I'll catch you on the next video. Mahalo. Ahoy ho.